Okay, it is the first day of my family med rotation. It's gonna be my first rotation of third year, and I'm going into the clinic, and I just thought that I'd show what I'm wearing and what's in my white coat. So I'm gonna go get that right now. Okay, so yeah, I'm wearing all black today. You can't see my bottoms, but didn't want to go super crazy on the first day. Okay, so right here, I have my pens. I have this little pen holder that I got from Muji, which I'm super excited about. Have my stethoscope in my pocket, nothing else in there. I'm gonna have my notebook as well. And here I have a little notebook. This is really cute. I got a set of these from Jamie from Strive to Fit. She sent them over last year. I didn't really have a chance to use them because I wasn't starting clinicals yet. I'm gonna have a bigger notebook. I'll show you actually. This is a notebook I'm gonna bring to write all my notes in for the day. This is just gonna be for any extra stuff. Then I have this. It's a med student edition of MD Pocket Guide, and it has all the information about like how to do an H&P, everything like chief complaint, past medical history, history of present illness, all that type of thing. So you can go through there. They didn't tell me really to bring anything specifically other than my notebook, stethoscope, and some black pens today. I think because I am new and it's my first day, I'll figure out more about what I need when I get there. So that's pretty much it. Let's go, and I'll update you guys a little bit later. Okay everyone, I am now at the end of the first week of my family medicine rotation, so I thought I'd sit down and give you guys an overview of what it was like and show you some of the books and the resources that I've been using to study. So I was in the clinic 6 days this week, Monday to Saturday. Because it is my first week, I had to be there for the 6 days, but upcoming I won't have to be there that many days a week. I have kind of a laid back schedule for my first rotation, which is nice. The preceptor is really great. She understands that we also need time to study, which is nice. So I'll be seeing patients, but I'll also have a decent amount of time to myself to study for step 2 CK and CS. So the first couple of days in the clinic, I was just shadowing some of the other students, seeing their protocol for bringing patients in, introducing themselves, which parts of the exams they rule in and which parts of the exams they rule out, obviously, because you don't do a full physical exam on every single patient who comes in. It's a matter of deducing what they're coming in for and getting a good history, and then going from there and deciding what type of physical you want to perform on each patient. So I would follow people around and kind of just got the gist of things before I had my own patients. And so how it worked is that we would come in the mornings, look at the schedule for all the patients for the day, and each student would sign up for their own patients. And each patient has their own file in the clinic, so we're responsible for going and finding their file, or signing into the online database, or EMR, I think it's called, and looking up their history and preparing ourselves to know everything in the past history of the patient. So past surgical history, past medical history, family history, social history, previous visits, any medications they're on, all of those things. So that by the time they get there, you already kind of have a picture of what their history looks like. And then when they arrive, we invite them in. Let's say I had my own patient that I was gonna see. I would invite them in, I would take their vitals, do the basic workup for them, and if I need to also take their lungs, I'll also take their lungs, do the same thing for their heart if I need to. If I need to give them an eye exam, I'll do that. Essentially, just ask them why they're there, get a good history, chief complaint, everything like that, and then I will leave the room. And then I would find the doctor and present the patient to the doctor. So I would tell the doctor all about what I have deduced from the history of the patient that I looked up in their file, and also everything that they told me in the office when I was with them, and basically give them an overview. And then the doctor would ask me whatever questions she wanted, either to quiz me on them or just anything that I may have missed. And then we both go in and see the patient together. Then of course the doctor would perform any of the other necessary exams other than just the basic vitals and physical, and assess the patient, talk to the patient, see whatever else they didn't share with me, I guess, do whatever else needs to be done for the appointment. We'd leave, she'd discuss with me the treatments that she decided to go ahead with the patient, or for example, if they needed imaging, she would tell that to me. We would write everything out. I'd learn how to write the prescription and everything. Of course, the doctor is the one who writes the prescription, but I'm learning how to do it. And then from then on, the patient gets to leave. We fax their prescriptions over to the pharmacy, so on and so forth, and get everything set up either for them to come for another visit or to just send them on their way and hope for the best. So then after the patient has gone, I take the file and I take my soap note that I have. We have these little forms that we fill out when the patient comes in, and I'm responsible for essentially transferring all that information from their paper record into the online database. And so that's what charting is. You always hear people and doctors and nurse practitioners talking about charting and how it takes so long. For me, I haven't had too many patients, so it doesn't take too much time out of my day. That's why I'm there to learn, but that's what helps you get familiarized with charting, is writing a soap note and learning how to properly input the information with the proper medical terminology that you need to be using to describe the symptoms and the diagnoses that your patients have. So as far as things that I learned this week, I learned a lot. I learned how to take a soap note, of course. You can Google it and see what that is if you don't know what it is. I learned how to do injections, so do vitamin B12 injections, flu shot injections, and I also learned how to perform a pap smear. I didn't perform it, but I was able to observe and learn how it's done. I also learned how to draw blood. We had a couple of students get together and just practice drawing blood on each other, which was cool because I'd never done that before, and it's actually not as hard as it looks. We didn't take any tubes of blood from each other. We just inserted the needle to get good at it, and we also had to sign off so that with someone watching us who worked at the clinic, so that we would be able to prove that we did know how to do it. So if we needed to do it on a patient, we got the okay. And so we got to do that, and I got on my first try, which was pretty cool and unexpected, and definitely have some bruising from the other students who practice on me, which is all good. And what else? And as I mentioned before, I learned how to write prescriptions. And so, of course, as a medical student, I'm not the one writing prescriptions, but it's important for us to learn how to do that. And there's a lot of medical abbreviations like bi-daily, orally, injections or inhaled, those types of things, you know, like TPO, BID, all those things that you see. It's actually kind of difficult when you're looking at the doctor's handwriting on the prescription pad because it's the medication and then all the abbreviations. So I had to definitely look up all that and see what all of it meant so that I can get more comfortable with reading them without having to go into the electronic database to double check what it was. Or having to ask the doctor what her writing said, because I don't want to be doing that all the time. And then other than that, I thought I'd just show you the books that I'm using to study. I showed some of them earlier, but I'll show you again. So my first book that I'm using is a popular one. It's called Step Up to Medicine. It's essentially like, it has all the information in there that I used to look for in the same way when I was studying for Step 1 when I went to First Aid for the USMLE Step 1. So now I go to Step Up for all of those answers that I need, or questions that I need answered. So this has 100 practice questions in the back. There's also a lot of really good clinical pearls that are associated, or I think they're called quick hits in each section. And this textbook is arranged by organ system, so like cardiovascular, pulmonary, so on and so forth. It's not organized by rotation. So that's kind of nice. And I haven't really looked through too much of it. I've only been going through the ambulatory section because it's taken me just a couple days to get into it and get back into the study rhythm. And also I know that for this book, the ambulatory section is particularly useful. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I don't know if any of you guys watch YouTube videos from Doc Osara. I remember him talking about this a couple years back and saying that the ambulatory section is really good, and it has been proven to be true. So the second book that I've been using is Master the Board, Studying for Step 2 CK, and it's written by Conrad Fisher. He's the really good physiology teacher in the Kaplan videos, the bald guy, and this is a really great book. I've actually been preferring to use this over Step Up because this is arranged, let me see, this is arranged both by system, well, kind of. So there's an internal medicine section that is arranged by system, like cardiology, infectious disease, endocrinology, but then it goes through all the different types of rotations as well. So it has preventative medicine, dermatology, surgery, ENT, pediatrics, OB, GYN, all that stuff like that. So if you're in a certain rotation, you can go through and find specific information that you might have been quizzed on or pimped on during that rotation. And also the reason that I'm choosing to focus on this one is because I have a friend who is a couple semesters ahead of me, and she has found this to be very, very helpful for the shelves and also for studying for her QBANKS for her Step 2 CK exam. She says this has been kind of like a Bible for her, so I'm going on her word on that, and so far I really like it. I much prefer to read this one than I do Step Up to Medicine. Next book, I have just received my copy of Case Files. This is a family medicine case files. We go over a lot of these in my course program. We have a lot of online learning that are basically based off of case files taken straight out of this book. And so I just got it. I haven't really had any time to look through it, but I've used the case files PDFs before when I was in the basic sciences, and they are really helpful. Basically, it gives you a case scenario, and then it gives you the whole breakdown of what definitions are, certain definitions for medical words or terminology. Then it goes through the, let's see, analysis, like objectives, things to consider when you have a case like this, clinical approach, history, types of examinations, imaging, management principles, so on and so forth. And then it has like different tables and stuff related to each case. So it's a good book, and it's small, so it fits in your lab coat if you don't want to carry it in your backpack. And then another book that I just got was USMLE Studying for Step 2 CS. I am probably not going to flip through this anytime soon. I mean, I'll have a look, but I just got this because it was in the same order as my Case Files book, and it's kind of the main resource for studying for Step 2 CS according to everyone. It has all of your clinical guidelines and stuff like that. So first aid never goes away. Just accept it. It doesn't go away. So that being said, what QBANKS am I using? I have purchased the UWorld CK QBank and also USMLE RX CK QBank. I didn't purchase the UWorld CS QBank. I haven't heard much about it, but I'm just not going to use that. If anything, maybe if I hear good things about it, I'll use it closer to when I take Step 2 this time next year. But for now, I'm not going to worry about it. It's also another $400, so we don't need to be worrying about that. And then I've also been using the family medicine questions specific to studying for my shelf exam on aafp.com or .org, whatever I talked about before. And so my plan is to just get through all of the USMLE RX, or at least a majority of the QBank during this rotation, because my plan is to start studying for Step 2 CK right now. I'm not just gonna focus on my family medicine shelf exam. I wanna get well ahead and well prepared for my upcoming rotations. So I'm studying with mixed questions on USMLE RX, and I'll get done with those, and then in the meantime I'm also doing just a couple of questions every day, or like 10 to 20 questions per day from the AAFP quizzes online. And then when it gets closer to my shelf exam for this rotation, then of course I will up the amount of family med specific questions I'm taking compared with overall CS questions. But I don't want to leave that to the last minute, so that's pretty much how I've been studying. So that's pretty much it for my first week of family medicine / third year update. I hope that it was helpful for you. And one more thing, my couch arrived, so I will show you the status of my apartment. I'm glad that everything is set up, so I'll take you and show you. It's a little messy in here, but this was the old couch that I had, and this is my new couch. I got it from Wayfair. I got a good deal on it. And my mom got it for me, which was really nice as my birthday present. So that was really sweet of her. It's very comfortable, very mid-modern century, you could say. And then, you know, my desk is there, and I also got a kitchen table. So nothing is overly nicely set up, but that's just the status right now. Also, before I say goodbye, I just did want to make a comment about my last video about the paid Skype sessions. I know some people thought that that was an absurd amount of money. I understand, it's a lot of money. I'm really not expecting anyone to do it, but I have had people email me asking me to have one-on-one phone calls, and that's just something that is quite time consuming, and I would love to do that with everyone. But if I am going gonna do that, I'm not gonna do it for free. And so if people wanna pay that, they can. Otherwise, they can just keep watching these videos, and I will of course answer any of the questions that anyone sends me over email. It just might take me a while to get back to them, so I thought I'd throw that option out there for anyone who, for whatever reason, is desperate to get answers from me face to face. And so by no means do I expect you guys to pay me any money or give me anything for this. I'm doing this channel to help people out and give them information that I wish I had, and I'm gonna keep doing my regular videos. And hopefully I'll be able to do some live streams eventually one day and just kind of see what questions that people keep asking me that keep coming up, and I'll do something like that, and that would be really fun. So that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little update, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!